it's not enough to just do Torah mitzvahs in this world. We learned last time that our goalpost is Lisanik, to have Hanonid, that the Chaye Prosdor has to reflect and be like the Chaye Trachlin that was Yisod from, not Stamasaurus, from the great Altus Slobodka, person who really, our Jewish life, as we know today, is so affected by it. I just want to take a second to step back. If anybody wants to have, I think, 15 sessions in the old 5 minutes on the Dome about the Altus Slobodka, there's no end from what we can learn from him. One of the seminal figures, really, in the Musar Yeshivas. He was, by the way, the original person who brought Musar into the Yeshivas. Rishon Salanter created Musar as a world movement and wanted everybody involved in Musar, but it wasn't Yeshivas per se. The Altus Slobodka was the first one who brought into Yeshivas. I learned recently. Last year I didn't know that. I wouldn't have said that before. Now I know that, but we know who his students were. Rav Chatzkel Sarna, the Rosh Yeshivah of Chevron, Rav Aaron Kotler, the one who brought Torah to America, wrote a whole different level of Torah to America. Rav Ruderman, the Rosh Yeshivah of Ner Yisrael, great Rav Yitzchak Hutner, Bal Pachad Yitzchak, Isaac Sher, who we're talking about, the Sridi Eish, the Posek, a person who encompassed worlds, went from Slobodka to Berlin and learned in university and became the rector of the Hildesheimer Institute, and so many others, of Lesson, the Mashgiach of Rabbi Yeshivas Rabbeinu Yitzchak Elchanan, YU, and so many others, that the Rav Leventhal, who founded the first yeshiva in America, I believe in Rhode Island, and just so many other people that were great Talmidim of his, Rav Meir Chodesh. It goes on and on. So this is the Alter. So let's see what he says. And he said that that's what we have to do. The life in this world has to reflect the life of the next world, and we explain that means we have a new goalpost. Am I getting geschmack? I want to find the geschmack in all mitzvahs that I do. I want to find a tanug. I want to find the olam haba in it. I want to find the kiras habar in everything you do. I don't want to live a stilted life. I don't want to live just a halachic, doing the right thing life. I want to live these concepts. The Alter continues. This is the truth. Everything the Kadosh Baruch Hu did is for good. Right? Think about it. That means everything that's going on in the world is good. Now, it's hard for us to feel that often, but we say that so often. Gamzu Litova, right? Some say it's Litova right now. It's not good. Okay, if he's learning right now, it is good. There's a goodness in everything. There's a Tuva Sabari in everything. There's a Rabbanu Shalom in everything. For sure, all the good things in life. So many of us, we're so weak at identifying all the good we have in our life. If you're probably, some of you are seeing me right now. Some of you are hearing me right now. You're all hopefully understanding me right now. I mean, how much is going on this minute? I'm moving my hands. My feet are all there. I'm breathing, Baruch Hashem, well. Most of us have a pretty good level of health. I want to tell everybody, I have, my knees aren't as good as they used to be. And I used to say, and sometimes I still slip and say, that I have bad knees. Someone said to you, you have a bum knee. That was the expression that athletes use, a bum knee. I don't want to say they're bad knees. They're not bad. I have a bad back. My back works fine. A little pain, yeah. It's not like when I was younger, for sure. It's bad? Not bad. Not bad. My knees work so well. They're doing 80% of the job they do. Okay, they hurt a little bit, or maybe sometimes a lot. They're bad. Even the way we speak, it's a bad way to speak. Kadosh Baruch Hu saw everything they said, it's tov ma'od. The world is good. It's so good. It's so beautiful. The bria, animals, so much humans, so much goodness in the bria, so much tov in the bria, so much tov in Klal Yisrael, so much tov in our communities, in our shuls. Look what Klal Yisrael is. Look what we've put up with. Look what we've been doing since October 7th. Look at how Jews sacrifice. People are making $200,000, don't have a penny for vacations because they're giving it all to tuitions. Look at the Mesilas Nefesh, having 5, 6, 7 children. Incredible. We live amongst these people. I'm a member of this people through 3,300 years. The whole world is stuck in Sheker, and I'm stuck in what goodness. Yom Tov, a Shabbos, incredible. A shul, my Rav, my Rebbitzin, my neighbor, such chesed they do, such gemachim, around the Jewish world, caring about each other. Incredible. The world is full of good. We have to open your eyes, and our lives are full of good. But we're thinking, I have bad knees, I have a bum knee, I have a bum life, I have a bum kid, I have a bum, he's a bum. No, he's not a bum. So much goodness in your child. You gotta scrape a little and find it. So much goodness in your life. You have to find it. There's difficulties for sure, but if you look around, there's so much happening. I read a story once about a woman who didn't have a sense of balance. She always felt like she was falling. Imagine what that's like. I always feel she's falling. But I'm not like that. Rabbanim advise, when you see someone who's less fortunate than you, say, Baruch Hashem, I'm not like that. You feel bad for them, Rahmanas, for sure. But I'm so happy that I have that. I have a basic level of parnasa, I have a roof over my head, I have electricity. Well, who appreciates electricity? Technology. What a geschmack technology is. We appreciate technology. The possibilities we have, that we can check our pulse on our phones. Is that ridiculous? We can connect to people in so many ways. We can share Torah in so many ways. That we can write emails and do things so quickly. Do banking. I don't have to go into a bank anymore. I can make appointments on my phone. You have to take pleasure in that. Pen, technology, water coming out of the walls. I'll share one more thought. We can go on and on, but I want to get back to what the author says. But this is the point he's getting to, so I'm just expanding his words. I noticed one time it says that it was Bashkacha that Achashverosh was together with Esther during Tavis when it was cold. And that would, so to speak, warm the relationship between them. Achashverosh was cold in Tavis? Achashverosh, the Gemara says, was Melech B'Kippah. He was one of 4 or 5 people that ruled the whole world. He wasn't just a melech. He was a melech who ruled the whole world. And he was cold. I'm not cold in Tavis in my house because I have air conditioning. You can see it in the back, those. We're cold. Why? So why should I appreciate that? Light. I read a book recently about John D. Rockefeller, who was Standard Oil, and originally it wasn't cars. Before cars, it was petroleum. It was kerosene. To make lanterns, they used to use whale fat before the oil thing. They only found oil in the 1870s in Pennsylvania, of all places. Oil Creek it was called. Do you know that? Oil wasn't found in Saudi Arabia. That was only afterwards. It wasn't found in Oklahoma, not in Texas. Found in good old Pennsylvania, a place called Oil Creek. That was for years. Oil Creek was the main place of oil, the founding of oil, and that's what they used. You had to go buy the oil, and it had a smell, and that's part of what Standard Oil did. It got rid of the smell, and you put in your thing, you hope it doesn't turn on fire. Now we have so many different types of lights. I'm talking to myself. You can join these things and see the tuvas of bore in them. Modern medicine. How we should be jumping at modern medicine. So many things we have for so many ailments. This is a scary thing. Someone who had cancer said to me that we used to say yena machla, that machla, because it was, if you had cancer, it was it. We all know so many people, we all know people who, the lady passed away, but we all know people who made it through cancer today. That didn't exist. If you had cancer 60, 70 years ago, 80 years ago, I know exactly when, it was done. But now we have so many treatments for it. We should find more treatments, etc. So we live in a world of unbelievable goodness, but we don't appreciate it because we see the negative. We all know this, but that's the source of happiness. But anyway, and that's the source of seeing who's making all that good in the world? Who's making all the foods we have? All the geschmack of delicious foods. So someone who sees that, I have an unbelievable joy. There's so much goodness in the world. I have another example to tell you in a second. There's no bad. There are bads, but there's no bad that you can't find some good in it. Well, that's such a great line. There's no bad, things which feel bad, but you can always find some good in the Olam Hazeh. U'b'olam haba. Right? Begam hatov eno inin mugbal bezman u'makom el hachana shel haproza l'traklin hanitzchi. Right? Lo chai la'adam. This is unbelievable. Watch this. It's not enough. Now, when you get pleasure, when I take pleasure in the good of the Rebbeinu Shalom, and when I say Psukkah de Zimra with a heart full of love, when I sing, thank you Hashem, Oda Hapam Oza Es Hashem, Tov Lahodas Hashem, Lo Chai La'adam Shu Chai Kol Yom Be'oneg V'Iden. It's not just that you're limited to the Oneg, it's Gevaldig, Mamish, life is Nifla, it's gorgeous. El Shizel Holach Mechayel Lo Chayel, Me'oneg V'Iden Zehu Olav La'oneg V'Iden Yoter Gadol. So once I get into an Oneg cycle in the world, and I open my eyes, I say, it's not as black as the news wants me to think it is. There are difficulties for sure. But don't let them steal your heart from the goodness of the Borei Olam and the goodness of the world and the happiness that you can feel to their dark place so they should have better ratings and make money. That's all it is. And we know that. So why are you watching so much news? Get out of it. And when you start the owning cycle and you start to appreciate it, then you can appreciate everything. You know, Rabbi Tzaddik, Big Neville says, Rabbi Tzaddik, who used to eat, not the Hakohen, the Amor Tana, who used to have bread and water. How much geschmack can you have in a piece of bread and water? I love bread. I'd be happy just eating bread. You know, it makes me fat, so I don't eat it. Make fatter. But bread, unbelievable. Now they have you can get, what's it called? Machmetzet. Sourdough bread. You put a little butter on it. It's delicious cold cuts. It's unbelievable. But you start seeing the good and the good in relationships. Those are the children, the geschmack of having a family, having a wife, or having a husband behind you, next to you. Colleagues. What a geschmack to have colleagues. I think about it sometimes, how lucky I am. You know, since I'm however old I am, I'm around such unbelievable people. You have to open your eyes. I can be critical of my coworkers, and I am sometimes. But I think about it. Wow, what amazing people I'm going to be next to. What amazing. Oh, but the guy, he comes late to shul, and he doesn't doubt about it. He's too modern. He's too frum. Right? Frum is you're in the middle. There's modern on one side, fanatically religious on the other side. Frum, fanatically religious. You's got all straight. Modern, it's everybody's, well, you're around gewaltige people. Amazing people. What a geschmack. But it's a cycle. You have to get yourself into that. I've spoken about this many, many times, and it's written many times, and after working on it myself, we have to get into that. It's a cycle. That's what the author is telling us. You get into Lisanig al Hashem. I'm starting seeing the owning in life, the geschmack, the goodness in life, goodness in Christ, and then it builds and it builds and builds, and whoa, it's all over. And even people I don't agree with sometimes, there's so much good in the Jewish world, and in this group and that group, and in learning, whew, and in Nach, it's endless. Every sugya, every tosus, every Rashi, every tefillah, mincha has this geschmack, and Marav has that geschmack. It's a cycle. So you go Michael El Chayil. No, but that's not the end of the story, friends. It gets better. Shuholich Michael El Chayil be'onig v'igun zehu ola le'onig v'igun yoter gadol. B'schar v'saneg el Hashem. Yiskid la'az t'saneg Hashem. We asked those two psukim in the last session. We started Tehillim Lamed Zayin and Yeshaya Nunches. You're v'saneg, you take owning of Hashem, you get schar for that. What a deal. Not only, because that's what we do, right? Where do we start before these half hour ago? You have to do the mitzvahs and just earn your olam haba. No. You got to find the Chai Tracklin in the pros door. You got to get a geschmack. You got to enjoy it. Guess what, though? You get rewarded for that geschmack. You feel the geschmack. You start that cycle. First off, you yourself are going to sense more and more joy because you're going to open you up to the joy of mitzvahs, the joy of life, the joy of humanity, the joy of people, the song of the Bria. And not only that, you're going to get schar for that. The more you enjoy learning, the more reward you get. The more you feel. The Rosh Yeshivah, he has so much chesed to give us. He has so much love to give us. And he says, you appreciate my goodness? My goodness, you appreciate my goodness? You're going to get a reward for that. Just like your father says, I want you to see that I'm doing good for you. I want you to feel my love. You feel my love, I'm giving you more love. You feel the connection to me, I'm going to give you more connection. Now, it doesn't stop there, friends. I would love to stop here, and make a next section. But I think we don't need a whole other section. So let me go on. Lefum tsara agra. Wow. But this doesn't fit, because we know lefum tsara agra, the more, I think it's mission of us, right? According to the difficulty is the reward, right? So it's all about difficulty. It's all about putting your nose to the ground and just suffering. No. So what does it mean? From Tsar Agra, listen to the Alter's Taich of it. It was so difficult for me to find the geschmack in this thing. Learning I always liked, but davening I didn't like. Yom Tov I liked, Shabbos I didn't like. Shabbos I did like, Yom Tov I didn't like. I've had Talmud like that. I had Talmud, he couldn't put up with Yom Tov, right? And now, Shlab 1, you have to keep Yom Tov. Especially you're married, you got to keep Yom Tov, man. You got to get a dollar minimum. You got to get out of bed. You have to go daven, right? Remember, That's the first law. Not only that, it's not enough. You have to deal with the problems you have and the misnagdim you have to Yom Tov and get to the point where you even enjoy Yom Tov. And you're going to get reward for that. That's from Tzar Agra. The schar I get for not just the stam, the difficulty. That's how we always learn. Just difficulty. It's difficult. I have a headache and I learn anyway, right? I have a headache and I have to learn with that headache and I have to get joy in my learning with that headache. That's the schar. Incredible. I told you it was a big piece. I don't tell lie to you guys. You're only going to recognize, in the next world, we will only know how much reward you got. It was difficult for you. It was difficult for you to let go of that grudge. It was difficult to let go of that time on your wife or your husband. And you push yourself and you got over it. And then not only do you get over, you have a geschmack in that. Baruch Hashem, I got over this kindness in me. I'm going to be good to my husband no matter what, even if he does it, obviously within a boundary, in a healthy way, not toxic, blah, blah, right? Okay, of course, right? But, my husband does this. He leaves his socks on the floor, and it drives me bananas, right? And I've learned enough about Shalom Bayis to say he's not going to change, and I just have to accept him, like Mesilas Yesharim says in his book. And you can either, as he says, you can either complain and not have Shalom Bayis and have him not clean up his socks, or you can accept it and have Shalom Bayis and not have him clean up his socks. But he's not cleaning up his socks. And it was such a challenge to me. And then I let go. And now I even have a geschmack. When I see my husband's socks, I say, that represents for me that his gabris I did on my midas to let go. And taking the good advice of Ben Sion Shafir. And 10 dumb mistakes really smart people make. Just let go. And I get a geschmack in that. That's your reward. And only in Olam Haba are you going to appreciate really the reward. You're going to feel in this world already, because we're feeling in this world. We said it's so geschmack. It's so delicious to let go of a taina. It's so delicious to get over a grudge. It's so wonderful to find meaning. It's so wonderful to forget about myself. It's so wonderful not to be selfish. It's so wonderful to help my wife. It's so wonderful to help my kid. It's so wonderful to help that person who's a little bit against me and isn't nice to me. It's so good to be in shul when I don't get to the li I want. And that I think I deserve, and they're not asking me to sex, etc., and why I do it. And anyway, I come and I smile at everybody, etc., and I feel so happy that I can get over my small times, and I'm gonna, etc. All these things. That's the schar. Incredible, what a piece. And according to how happy you are, that's the point. It's not just the goalpost of doing it. It's how much happiness did you reach? How much did your life in this world reflect the next world? There were so many things I had to overcome. You see me today happy in this situation. I can deal with this boss. I can deal with my kid. I can deal with my teenager. I can deal with my mother-in-law. I can deal with Shabbos. I can deal with getting up early for davening. I can deal with slichos. I can deal with all the things and not just deal with them. Truly smile at them. Obviously, different feelings for different things. But in a certain way, it's greater. Of course, you enjoy Yom Tov. Yeah, but I enjoy getting up for shul. I enjoy jumping out of bed at the first alarm. That is what your schar is going to look like. So I would call this, dear friends, a landmark piece, a watershed piece. And as I said, it's coming from an authoritative source. I think it's a life-changing piece. It's something which has to be taught together with the first Perek of Mesilas Yesharim to give a more complete picture of something. Because as we continue back to the direct words of the Mesilas Yesharim, it's going to, we'll see some me'ain of this itself, but the angle is much going to be war, that this world is against us, and I'm doing mitzvahs anyway, and I'm producing it, but the altar is bringing out another pan of Avodas Hashem, another aspect that's so essential and really so life-changing. And I mentioned it a little bit as we're talking about this. He's talking about for us. You don't have kids, you're single, you're 18, you're 19, you're not married yet, you're never getting married, Hashem Yazor, whatever, right? This is for us. But Rav Osai, For children, this is so essential. You might be willing to put your head to the floor and just keep pushing despite all the difficulties and all the lack of geschmack you have. Your kids, and we're getting to a world of more and more hana and more fun and things like that. It is going to be so difficult. You want your kids to be frum. You want them to go in your way. You have to make a geschmack. So many. I'm resonating something you've heard. You have to show the kids that there's olam haba in these mitzvahs. There's geschmack in these mitzvahs. Geschmack in Shabbos. Geschmack in Torah. Geschmack in davening. Geschmack in. It's difficult, right? Because the geschmack of a video game, the geschmack of a concert, the geschmack of liquor, smoking is so immediate. And at the end of the day, you do have to work for it, for sure. But that's our job as parents, to make a geschmack house, a happy house where we're smiling. Of course, where we have shalom bayis. How are you going to show the simcha of Shabbos if you and your husband, you and your wife are tense with each other all the time? A kid feels that. They feel the tension. Don't kid yourself. They feel it, right? As they get older, they feel it more. They know they see something's going on. We gotta be geschmack for the children, geschmack for those who have talmidim and talmidot. We have to show them how beautiful Yiddishkeit is, how geschmack it is, how we're touching olam haba. It's not just, we're not doing this, we're not doing this because we have to. Rav Aaron Kotler said to one of his gvirim once, he said he was pushing him to learn, like Rav Aaron pushed everybody to learn. His great passion of his life, bringing the whole world under for limud Torah, the pulse and the neshama of Klal Yisrael, like he would say, the yeshivas, the neshama of Klal Yisrael. We have to protect the yeshivas and love the yeshivas, appreciate the yeshivas. Less and less people are. It's heinous how people are not appreciating yeshivas today. To appreciate Lomdei Torah and yeshivas. Okay, so Rav Aaron said to someone, you have to learn. So he said, Rashiva, you always tell me that you have such schar in the next world for supporting Torah. Like, why are you pushing me to learn? Rav Aaron said, it's for your olam hazeh. I'm worried about you in this world. I'm worried about the next world. Next world, you're okay. This world, then we have the geschmack. So we should all, Bezrat Hashem, we should all find the geschmack in mitzvahs. We should all be mekayim. We should all remember this masterpiece, short masterpiece of the great Alter Slobodka, and try to live it as much as possible.